Manchester United slumped to an underwhelming 2-0 loss at Newcastle United on Sunday, letting the Magpies leapfrog them in the Premier League standings. Back to the Premier League action after a dramatic 3-1 win over Fulham in the FA Cup quarter-finals, the Red Devils hoped to put the disappointment of a 0-0 home league draw against Southampton behind them. Following a drab scoreless draw in the reverse fixture at Old Trafford, United had an added incentive to topple Newcastle in their backyard and strengthen their position in the top four race. However, Erik ten Hag's lads were nowhere to be seen in the opening 20 minutes, even though the Dutchman urged his players to take control of the pace in the build-up. Ten Hag's comments on Newcastle's time-wasting tactics seemingly didn't go down well with his Magpies counterpart Eddie Howe, as he sent his troops on a scoring mission from the get-go. It was all Newcastle in the early proceedings, with the home side enjoying way more ball possession and keeping Man United pinned to their opening third despite failing to create many chances. But the hosts could feel they'd soon come knocking on David De Gea's door, which inevitably happened in the 16th minute as the Spaniard had to make two stunning saves to prevent the Red Devils from falling behind. He first pulled off a massive stop to deny Alexander Isak's header on the near post before blocking Joe Willock from the ground on the follow-up with one of arguably the most outstanding saves of the season. Even though the chance went begging, Newcastle's relentless effort to avenge a 2-0 defeat in February's League Cup final kept them moving forward in numbers again and again. Man United patiently waited for the counters to break down Howe's rock-solid defensive setup, but they found such opportunities hard to come by in the opening 30 minutes. The closest Ten Hag's side came to having a breakthrough was Diogo Dalot's weak first-time attempt on the far post following Bruno Fernandes' delightful cross in the 34th minute. However, the Portuguese's poor volley barely made Nick Pope sweat. Only 5 minutes later, Newcastle thought they had opened the scoring as Sean Longstaff unleashed a thunderous strike from distance, which flew a whisker wide of De Gea's goal. Soon after, Willock had another glorious chance to break the deadlock, but his first-time effort from point-blank ended up in the stands, offering Ten Hag a huge sigh of relief. After wasting numerous presentable openings, the Magpies could have gone into halftime on the back foot, yet Antony's finishing touch let him down on the stroke of the interval. The Brazilian found himself unmarked inside the box but couldn't keep his shot on target despite firing from close range as the game went into halftime without a goal. It was a scrappy start to the second half as both teams tried to grab the lead without taking many risks, especially Man United. After completing the first half without a single attempt on target, the Red Devils had one weak shot towards Pope midway through the second half, with Dalot giving it a go from mid-range. Ten Hag's clueless approach finally backfired on United in the 65th minute. Alan Saint-Maximin headed the ball goalwards, with Willock stabbing home from the goal line to put Newcastle in front. Going ahead allowed the Magpies to deploy their time-wasting techniques for the rest of the game, as they tried to delay the play whenever given a chance. While Man United took more risks and put more bodies forward after falling behind, the question is, where was Ten Hag's attacking-minded football in the first 70 minutes? Ratings. David De Gea, 9 out of 10, pulled off several top-class saves to keep Man United in the match. A vintage performance from the Spaniard. Powerless to stop Willock's opener. Diogo Dalot, 6 out of 10, unable to keep up with Alan Saint-Maximin's blistering pace for most of the game. Had several exciting ventures forward, though. Lisandro Martinez, 8 out of 10, another defensive masterstroke from Ten Hag's favorite centre-back. Made a number of crucial blocks and barely put his foot wrong. Rafael Varane, 7 out of 10, not as impressive as his above-mentioned colleague, but still decisive in helping Dalot contain Saint-Maximin. Calm in possession as ever. Luke Shaw, 6 out of 10, had a much more attainable task of safeguarding Jacob Murphy on the left and held up his end of the bargain. However, it's hard to remember him moving high up the pitch. Scott McTominay, July 10th, slotted in for suspended Casemiro and did all the dirty work in front of his backline. But it's still incomprehensible how he's so prolific with Scotland, as he barely moved to the opposition's half. Marcel Sabitzer, 6 out of 10, for a creative deep-lying midfielder, the Austrian misunderstood the concept of pulling the strings from a quarterback position. Sacrificed his attacking ambitions to help United endure the siege. Marcus Rashford, 4 out of 10, perhaps his most uninspiring performance since the turn of the year. Never had a chance to catch his markers in transition due to a lack of service. Antony, 6 out of 10. Unlike Rashford, the left-footed's presence in the front third was heavily felt, even though he had nothing to show for it despite putting in much effort. Replaced at the hour mark. Bruno Fernandes, 7 out of 10, energetic and won most of his battles. Kept Man Utd's flowed tick over under pressure and had a few moments of inspiration. Wout Weghorst, February 10. It's hard to say whether he appeared at St. James Park today. Jadon Sancho, February 10, and near anonymous display from the Englishman after joining the fray for the last 30 minutes. Anthony Martial, 6 out of 10, made a vital stop on the goal line and came close to drawing Man United level on the other end. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to activate the notification icon to receive all our new videos.